Hello and welcome back to Bits and Bobs. Today's video is the complete guide to the coinage of King Edward VI, otherwise known as the Boy King, as we can see here. A very young monarch coming to the throne only aged 9 in 1547, reigning for 6 years until 1553. So a short reign, but many lovely coins issued under his reign to look through. We'll go through them in denomination order, starting with the lowest denominations and building up to the highest ones, of course the gold coinage as the higher value coins. So, we begin with the lowest denomination of Edward VI, which is the farthing. And here it is. It's a low resolution picture, as it is a very rare coin, a very elusive coin, and a lesser seen coin of the hammered coin variety. We have a long cross design to the reverse, with 3 dots in each quartering, and a legend around, and to the obverse, no portrait due to the small size of the coin, but we can see a portcullis has been struck there on the obverse, again with a legend around. Moving on now to the halfpenny, of course worth 2 farthings, or half of a penny. The design we can see is very similar, as is the scarcity. Again, a very poor picture of a very poor coin, but this coin here on screen is worth over £1,000, despite heavy wear, clipping and dirt to the coin. So the very rare and elusive halfpenny had a portrait of the long cross to the reverse, and a portrait now of King Edward VI to the obverse, facing to the side, facing to the right, rather than facing out of the coin, as he did on later busts, and you can see he is crowned. Moving now to the penny, a more common variety of coin. These are minted in the high numbers and are more easy to find pictures and find extra coins of. Edward VI halfpennies, and we can see a new design now. We have a long cross there, and rather than just 3 dots in the quarterings, we have, split between the 4 quarterings, the royal shield there with 2 parts having the 3 lines of England, the others with the fleur-de-lis, and we can see there to the obverse, again, a right-facing portrait bust. There are a few other styles of penny minted under Edward VI. We have this one here, and the obverse has no portrait, rather a Tudor rose, and finally the sovereign style penny, and we can see the similarities there between the sovereign of this era, as we will see, as he is throned rather than just the bust. Moving on now to the 2 pence of King Edward VI, we have it here, and again reverting to that same sort of earlier design for the penny, with a long cross on the reverse, and the shield as well through there, and then the crowned, right-facing bust of King Edward VII, and I think it's quite a good portrait in my opinion, as it does show the age of the young king, only a child of course on the throne, and you can sort of see that through the coin, although it's all done by hand over hundreds and hundreds of years, still visible on this coin. So in my opinion, a very well put together design and legend around both design sides, as we can see there. Moving on to the 3 pence, or threepence as it was known back then, we can see here an upgrade now to the size of the coin means more detail on the portrait. We have once again what I think is a really good portrait showing the age of the king. We can see only a young child rules England at this time. We have a 3 to his one side there, of course for 3 pence, and to the other side a Tudor rose. We can see his crown there with some royal garments on at the bottom. There's then a rim around that and a legend around this, and then to the reverse, a similar style design with a long cross running through, legend around, and the royal quartered shield to the centre, all a bit more detail now, as there's more room for the artistry to be hand done. Of course, all of these are hand done on the dies or the larger coins, giving more room for the portrait to be conveyed better to the metal when struck. So lovely 3 pence there, and now on to the 4 pence, also known as the groat. We can see here, reverting back to the profile design for this coin, and as well as using the profile side bust crown of King Edward VI, we have a large shield there. There's still a long cross running through, but the shield is very large in the centre of the coin, taking up all the room of that inner circle, touching the edges even on the top there. So a very large quartered shield to the reverse, and once again then the right-facing profile bust of King Edward VI, of course as always with legend around in Latin. Later groats with the facing bust were never made for Edward VI, as at the time the groat was a very unpopular denomination with the public, and so was sort of paused or cancelled for the rest of the reign of Edward VI. Moving now on to the 6 pence, a very popular denomination, we can see here a lovely design once again. Similar design to the 3 pence with the shield there, of course quartered and with a long cross running through, to the reverse with legend around, and then to the obverse that same portrait with the crowned boy king with his royal robes. We then have a VI to the side, of course this time it's a 6 pence rather than a 3 pence, and that Tudor rose there to the side once again. So a lovely coin, some good size and weight to this coin, so you can really show off the details here if you have one in your collection to admire the artistry of the 1500s designers at the Royal Mint team, and I think overall a good coin for any collection. And moving on to the shilling now, of course the counterpart to the 6 pence, being twice the value and just as commonly used in the time. We have the same design used on both 6 pence and shilling, and of course 3 pence as well. We now have XII next to the king, or 12, as a shilling was a 12 pence piece. We have a rose again there, and the crowned portrait bust. A lovely design for those coins, and moving on to an even better design perhaps now for the half crown. We have here the obverse featuring a horseback portrait of King Edward VI. The first time this was done for British coins. We can see him there with his sort of battle armour on and sword in hand, on the horse, below which is the date of the coin, 1551, of course the year this particular coin was struck, with a lovely long sort of medieval font legend around. And then to the reverse, that similar design theme with the long cross running through, more centered and centralized now, with more sort of technology being put behind the design. Such an important coin as the crown. Back then, 5 shillings was worth a lot of money to anyone using this coin, and it wouldn't have been the poor people using this coin. It would have been, even just 5 shillings would have been quite a lot back in 1551. So a majestic, large, beautiful piece of work there for this silver coin, and would have been a really nice one to use in your change back in the 1500s. Even nicer though was the double half crown, of course the full crown, and here we have it. We can see even more detail on this very large coin, with the horse now wearing armour as well. You can see all the designs on the horse's battle armour, and of course the king himself in his armour with the sword, the date below, the legend around again, and then a nice large, detailed, intricate design of the long cross and quartered shield. Of course, you've seen that theme run through many of his coins, from smaller to higher silver denominations, and now with a crown and half crown, the lovely horseback portrait of King Edward VI. And you can see there to the top of the legend, Edwardus VI. So there's all the silver coins from his reign. Here's a little overview of the weights and diameters if you're wondering for the sizes. So the penny weighed just half a gram and was 12 millimeters. The sixpence was 3 grams and was 19.4 millimeters. The shilling was 6 grams and 32 millimeters. And then that very large crown was 30 grams, so an ounce of silver, and 39 millimeters in diameter. So a large coin there, as I say, for the higher members of society doing larger purchases, as a crown was worth a lot of money back then. So now we move on to the gold coinage. There's 2 types. We have first the angel style coins, and then to the sovereign and more standard denominations for gold coins. So starting off with the angel and half angel, the only 2 denominations of angel issued in this time, they both had the exact same design as we can see here. We have Archangel St. Michael there to the reverse, stabbing and sort of killing a dragon with a halo and a spear. So a cool active design there, of course looking lovely in medieval gold style with a legend around that. And then to the reverse we have a boat there, you can see, with a mast having a sort of crow's nest at the top. In the boat we can see a royal shield and then sort of a cross to the top of that. And once again a legend around that. The price of an angel did vary over history. Throughout this time it was worth about 8 shillings for an angel, then of course around 4 shillings for the half angel. So a bit sort of a lower value coin than some of the half crowns. So they would have been integrated with the higher priced silver coins and the lower value gold coins, making that sort of transition from the lower priced gold to the higher priced silver into the higher priced gold, of which we'll see now. So there's the angel and half angel. One last look at a lovely design, I'm sure, and it was carried on for all sort of monarchs of the half angel and angel that used the same Archangel Michael design. But now on to the gold half crown. So we have the silver half crown on horseback, and here is the gold version. We have an oval shield, quartered and crowned, to the reverse with legend around, and then to the obverse we have a very young portrait here, portrait of making the king look very young indeed, with no crown and sort of armour there, facing to the right, profile bust of King Edward VI to the obverse of this gold half crown. So a lovely coin, and all of these gold coins, even the most common of them, are still very, very rare and very, very valuable. Moving now on to the crown. This is a lovely design, I must say. Look at that. You have a lovely, really sort of uniform, standardized crowned quartered shield to the reverse, with legend around, and the ER there standing for Edward Rex, of course, King Edward. His obverse portrait there has a crowned, holding the sword and scepter bust of King Edward VI, looking very regal and very noble, despite his young age on the throne. There was a second design of gold crown, in my opinion even better, that same lovely design to the obverse of King Edward VI holding orb and scepter, but to the reverse, look at this. This is a truly magnificent piece of artwork there to the reverse, with all sort of royal insignia and royal beasts and animals holding up the royal quartered shield there crowned, with a legend around, and a really busy design. Of course, as I say, all done by hand, and all crafted, handmade for each coin. So a lovely, lovely coin. As I said many times, there's a really nice coinage overall. Edward VI, as you've seen, now we're on to the half sovereign. A very similar design for the half sovereign as to the half crown. We have that very young looking portrait of King Edward VI to the obverse, and to the reverse, the oval shield with sort of bordering around it, the ER again, and a crown to the top, and legend around. So overall a lovely coin for the half sovereign. And the half sovereign, these coins back then were worth a lot of money, and now all of ththese gold coins just do sell for more than £25,000. And here we have the secondary design for the half sovereign. This is a sort of sovereign style half sovereign, if that makes any sense, because we have the crowned, sort of a throned crowned bust to the obverse there, looking very regal. Not quite as accurate, perhaps, doesn't look much like him, but a very regal bust nonetheless, and the shield being held up by the animals there to the reverse. On now to the gold sovereign, the main gold coin, the flagship gold coin. You may recognise the design here is that the same one we saw earlier, with the sort of crowned, holding the orb and scepter bust of King Edward VI to the obverse, and the royal beasts there holding up above the banner the quartered arm shield and crown. And this coin here is, worth more than the average car. This is a truly high-class collector's piece. These coins are worth of £50,000 to £60,000, as they're incredibly rare and incredibly sought after. And here is the main sovereign design of the sovereign, with the throned crowned bust of King Edward VI, and the royal beast there again, holding up the crowned quartered shield to the reverse. So I mean, as you can see there, I don't just say it again, a truly spectacular design. The highest gold denomination was the double sovereign, so rare that I can't really find a picture of it, but I will use the same picture here of the sovereign, as it did share the design. An incredibly rare coin, worth 6 figures or more, and I couldn't do any research on this more than that it existed because of how elusive and how rare it is. So any more information on the double sovereign of King Edward VI, then please do put it in the comments down below, as I'd love to learn more. So there we go, there is a coinage overview of King Edward VI. Although a short reign, some wonderful coins minted and used under his rule of the country. Please do comment down below your favourite, and as well, of course, please do subscribe to the channel if you've learned something new and enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon for some more coins in the future on Bits and Bobs. Bye for now.